You know how we always hear about the gut being our like second brain? Well, what if that brain has this microscopic villain, like pulling strings in the background?
Now that's an image, isn't it? And it's actually not that far off when you think about discoveries like the one we're covering in this deep dive.
Right. So we're talking about T. immunophila, which is this newly discovered bacterium, and it's found, get this, in the human gut.
Hmm.
And the coolest part is that it's got the science community like really riled up. We've got a press release, right, from the Cleveland Clinic, and they give us like the breakdown of the basics. And then there's this summary on Science Daily. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's a good one. Gets into the nitty-gritty of the research article.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really caught everyone's attention is that this bacterium can basically like shut down a really important part of our immune system. And we're talking like right there in the gut.
So we've got gut health, we've got the immune system, and we've got a brand new bacterium. It's like the start of some like sci-fi thriller or something.
Well, the science itself is pretty wild. So this T. immunophila, it goes after and breaks down this thing called SIGA. And SIGA is a type of antibody.
Okay.
And antibodies, they're like, the body's defense system.
Right.
And this one, SIGA, this is the one that's in charge of protecting the lining of your gut.
This is like the frontline security, making sure everything's running smoothly in there.
Exactly. It's like patrolling the gut lining, neutralizing any threats, things like bad bacteria that could lead to infections or inflammation.
But T. immunophila, it messes with this security team, right?
Yeah, and it's not good.
Yeah.
The research shows that when this T. immunophila is around, the SIGA levels in the gut, they go way down. And without enough SIGA on patrol, well, the gut's left vulnerable.
So it's like a security breach, leaving everything wide open.
Yeah, you got it. And that's why researchers are, well, they're pretty concerned about what this means. Could this bacterium be a factor in things like Crohn's disease, colitis, those inflammatory bowel diseases?
It's a scary thought. So we've got this like tiny troublemaker on our hands, and it's messing with our gut's defenses. But how did researchers even find this thing? Like, it's not like he was just sitting there under a microscope waving at them.
You're telling me it was real detective work, let me tell you. There was this team, right? And it was led by Dr. Thaddeus Stappenbeck and Dr. Kilu out at Cleveland Clinic.
Okay.
And they were on the case. They knew something was up with those SIGA levels in the gut, but they didn't know what.
So they were on a microscopic manhunt.
Exactly. They started analyzing gut bacteria samples from mice, even humans, looking for anything, out of the ordinary. And then, bam, they found it. This, like, totally unknown bacterium, T. immunophila.
Wow.
And get this, they published the findings in Science.
Okay, so that's huge.
Oh, yeah. That's a really big deal in research.
Talk about a plot twist. They find this microscopic suspect hiding in plain sight. And it turns out it's something totally new.
It's like a whole other world in there, right? And
Yeah.
it gets even more interesting.
Yeah, lay it on me.
So to really get what this all means, they brought in Dr. Michael Silverman. He's like the immune system guru. And he was blown away. He was calling SIGA this like critical component of our gut's defenses.
Huh.
He was saying this research could be huge for new treatments.
So this little bacterium, it's going to be famous, especially if it helps us treat gut problems, right?
Yeah.
But this is bigger than just one bad guy. Yeah.
You're right. This discovery, it's like shining a light on how complex this whole gut microbiome thing really is. Trillions of bacteria, good and bad, all living inside us.
It's like this whole universe inside of us.
Yeah.
And we're just figuring it out. What happens next? What does this T. immunophila discovery mean in the grand scheme of things?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the most exciting things is it could change how we treat inflammatory bowel diseases, like Crohn's, colitis. Now that we know T. immunophila is messing with SIGA, we can look for ways to stop it, keep those gut defenses strong.
So this tiny villain, it could actually help us make some huge breakthroughs. That's kind of amazing when you think about it.
It really is. But wait, there's more. There's another really interesting side of this we haven't even touched on.
Okay.
For a long time, doctors have been stumped. Why do some people have naturally low SIGA in their gut, but normal levels in their blood?
That's weird, right? Like a weak spot in just one specific part of your defenses.
I know. And this is where T. immunophila might be the missing link.
Do you think so?
It could be the reason some people are prone to this deficiency. It's like they're more vulnerable to those gut problems right off the bat.
It's like solving a medical mystery.
Right. And think about what this means for treatment. We could start personalizing gut health treatments. Look at someone's SIGA levels and go from there. What if we could control those levels, boost SIGA production, or even just stop it from being broken down in the first place?
Yeah. So this one little bacterium could completely change how we see something as complicated as the gut microbiome.
Hmm.
It's like we're always told, get your probiotics, eat your fermented foods,
Yeah.
all about that good bacteria, right?
Right.
But then we find this. It really makes you wonder, what else is going on down there in that microscopic world?
That's the big question, isn't it? Like, this research, it's like opening up a whole new frontier in gut health. And it really shows you just how connected everything in our body is.
Kind of freaky too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like knowing there's this whole world inside of us affecting like everything, how we digest our food, our immune system.
Totally. And who's to say T. Immunophila isn't just the beginning? Like, what other, I don't know, microbial villains or even heroes are hiding in there, just waiting for us to discover them?
It's true. Every answer just leads to more questions, more mysteries to solve.
That's science for you. Always discovering, always exploring. And with the gut microbiome, I mean, we're just getting started.
So we found one tiny troublemaker. But there's a whole lot more to learn about this microscopic universe living inside of us. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely paying more attention to my gut from now on.
I too. It's fascinating stuff. I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about this in the future.